In 546 BC, the Argives of Argos and the Spartans of Lacedaemon were locked in conflict over the Thyrean plain, a conflict that would mark the beginning of tensions and rivalry between both Polis for centuries to come. On a day that is not accurately known, the two armies faced each other, but unwilling to fight in a pitched battle to the tune of hundreds of dead, a deal was struck. 300 men would be picked on each side to fight to the death. The winning side would take Thyrea, likely one of, if not the largest duel in history. This epic moment is most notably immortalized by Herodotus in his writings, and it went something like this. Before we get started, I want to thank all the subscribers for being a part of this channel's YouTube journey. Thank you for getting us up to and above 500 subscribers. It is an important milestone and I'm thankful to you all. If you're into strategy games or history, do subscribe to the channel because I have a lot more history to cover and share, and the gaming live streams will not stop. Okay, back on topic. On that day in 546 BC, both armies stood tall on opposite sides of the field. The generals on both sides, fearing a costly and bloody battle, met to discuss the situation. Only one of these ancient powers would be holding on to Thyrea by the end of the day. But rather than having a pitched battle with possibly thousands of dead on each side, 300 men would be picked by each side to fight the ensuing duel. It was a mass duel. The generals on both sides sent their armies home so that none could interfere in the duel, and so 600 men took the field. Details of the fight itself are not known, but we can imagine how it must have been. The atmosphere must have been heavy. Though they would have felt proud to be one of the finest warriors of their day, the thought of death and weight of responsibility would make one nervous. However, these men have seen combat. They have faced death before. They've been training their entire lives, and all their experience led to this moment. After a brief period of silence, the leaders on both sides start to encourage their men. They bash their shields, possibly sing their war chants, they cuss at their enemy, and slowly start walking on their foe's direction. The inevitable is about to begin. Shields are locked, spears in position, and once at spear length, the combat begins. Nobody wants to take risks, but the thrusting spear finds its mark. Both sides fight for their lives, but one by one the men drop on the floor. As the sun starts slowly fading behind the hills, both sides, bloodied, tired, with their numbers dwindling, are unable to hold the phalanx, and combat devolves into a chaotic mess. It's a Hollywood battle. It's every man for himself. Great displays of swordsmanship and spear play are witnessed as the men fight for their lives. The fields of green turn red, but the sun has set. It's too dark to see. On the field of battle, two men remain standing, both Argrives from Argos. They run back to their city to tell everyone about their victory. So, did Argos win? Well, later that night, Thyrean, a Spartan captain, with the help of his spear, stood up to see that he was the last man standing on the field of battle. He took a few shields from his dead enemies and erected a trophy. With his own blood, he wrote, "To Zeus, the guardian of trophies." The Spartan side also claimed victory. Thyrean, in the shame and sorrow of being the only one of his friends alive, took his own life. In the aftermath of the duel, the Argives sent their hoplite army to Thyrea, and so did the Spartans. What came next was the very thing they tried to avoid, a pitched battle. Both sides had roughly equal numbers and were equal in strength. Again, the details of the battle are unknown. What we do know is that Sparta was able to score a major victory against Argos, and the Argives were forced to cede Thyrea. This is a great story, but is it true? Did it really happen? For cool points, yes, it absolutely happened, but for realistic points, it is not certain that the Battle of the 300 Champions actually happened. This is simply because the sources aren't many, and there isn't one, to my knowledge, that is contemporary. After all, Herodotus was born 62 years after the battle, and he's our main source, and he was criticized for having legends and fanciful accounts of events in his work. So this battle might just be a fanciful account of the very real events that led to the Spartan seizure of Thyrea. In favor of the battle actually happening, though, the Argives during the Peloponnesian Wars in 420 BC did challenge Sparta to a rematch. Sadly, this time around, Sparta declined, but this might be an indication that the whole affair is real, or that someone told that story and a century later everyone believes it's real. Either way, it should be made into a movie and it's a legendary moment of history. If you like Greek history or are into the classical period, you can watch these other videos on the screen right now and I'm sure you will like them. And if you're still around, do like the video and subscribe. You'll be helping the channel grow and be notified about my new videos and streams. Stay wonderful, and I'll see you on the next one.